G'day, Justin.
Okay, no.
Hey, on behalf of Channel 7, can you tell us about Sam Sturt's pre-season and what he's done to earn selection?
Yeah, well, he's been really impressive with everything he's done. He's had to put on a lot of weight since he got to the footy club, so his work in the gym has been really diligent. And his work on the footy field, he's worked on all aspects of his game, and he's got some really clear strengths with the speed and his marking ability and his leading patterns down forward. But been really impressed with the way he's applied himself defensively. He's been able to bring his speed to chase, tackle, and play his role defensively for the team. So that's probably what's led him to getting selected in round one, is his application to role, but application to defence. And he knows, along with all our forwards, that his opportunities will come through application to role offensively. So we're really excited to have him in the team. He provides something a little bit different for us, and thoroughly deserves his opportunity.
Yep. Your flight today, what special arrangements have you got to, I guess, keep your players and staff quarantined?
Yeah, well, we're still working through that with the airport. Looks like at this stage we'll meet in the car park and walk through the airport as a group and try and distance ourselves a little bit from the general public. We've got a chartered flight that Virgin have provided us, so we'll be on a plane by ourselves. So we've obviously got the hand sanitisers and face masks and that sort of thing as well. So I feel like we're well prepared, and we feel like the AFL and Virgin have done a great job to provide us those, necessities in what's presented in front of us.
Yep. And in Perth, what extra measures have you been taking this week? So things like moving your training base to Optus Stadium. Is there anything else that you've been doing?
Well, not really. We've just tried to make sure that we're isolating ourselves from potential risks, I suppose. So our players have done a fantastic job. Our staff that are at Optus with us have done a fantastic job of isolating themselves and limiting any risk, and that's probably what it's all about. We're just making sure that we're limiting risk and trying to make sure that our players and staff are really diligent around those risk measures.
Yep. The way that the season's looking like folding out, if there are going to be condensed periods of the season, as a footy club, are you preparing at all to play any of your home games away from home, if that, I guess, comes to it?
Oh no, at this stage we're not. No, our communication with the AFL has been that the season will kick off as fixtured. So we haven't planned on playing any of our home games away. But we also, as a footy club, understand that we need to be fluid and we need to adjust on the run. And we know this is going to be a complicated. It's complicated for everyone, and we know that we just need to be fluid, I suppose, with our planning and make sure we do the best in any circumstances that we're presented with.
Yep. Just a couple of quick footy ones. Your young midfielders, I guess particularly Brayshaw and Chera, we've seen them get a lot of midfield opportunity through the pre-season. Is that still your plan now that you're into round one?
Absolutely. We feel like we've got a good mix of youth and experience. Feel like our leaders in there are leading really well. With Walters spent a bit of time there, Fifey spent a bit of time there. Darcy Tucker's into his fifth year at the footy club, so he'll spend a lot of time through the middle of the ground. And we call them young, but Andy and Ches, I feel like they're ready to shoulder some of the midfield time. And I think the pre-season has given them opportunity, but they've also embraced that opportunity and earned the right to play there round one. So yeah, really confident our midfield group's got a good mix and is ready to go.
Yep. Beautiful. I'll hand over. Thanks, Justin.
No worries, mate.
Justin, Paddy Sweeney from Channel 9. Just going back to the travel arrangements, do you have a smaller travel party? And when you get to the airport, is that at a later time so you sort of walk through and you're straight through? Do you try and limit that exposure, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. We've limited our travel party a little bit. And it just comes back to risk and making sure that everyone that travels with us has solely been around the AFL program, and the Perth Airport and Melbourne Airport at the other end have done a fantastic job at making sure we can just get direct access to our team bus, and like I've said many times, we're just trying to limit risk.
We've heard in the last couple of days, I think Rory Lobb and Bailey Banfield just talking about potentially being isolate partners as well. You've obviously got a young family yourself. Have you, the Longmuir family, had to take any cautions or change things like that? What are you doing?
A few things, and a little bit fortunate that this junior footy has been cancelled now in a sense, because I was going to take my young fella out of junior footy and his basketball commitments, just to limit a little bit of risk around home. But my young kids still go to school, as we've got a lot of parents at the footy club with kids, and that's probably our sole risk at the moment, I guess. We're just trying to avoid overpopulated areas like a lot of people are in the community. So we're trying to limit risk, but haven't taken it too far, I don't suppose.
Yeah, and Justin, in terms of Optus Stadium, has the men's program moved there permanently? Is that because of the women are using COVID? Is that what you're thinking? And I mean, you have to wait till the women's season is finished for you to go back to COVID. What's the plans there?
Yeah, it's about, I suppose it's risk around a lot of different areas. Women's programs is one of those. We don't feel like we want to disrupt them too much leading into finals. We've got staff in that facility, and it's also a public facility, so we feel like we can limit risk by moving to Optus. We were going to train here anyway at times, so to base ourselves in the one area is just easier for everyone at the footy club, everyone at Optus, I suppose. So feel like we've got great support from Optus with our move here, and our staff have set up the facility the best we can, so that our players don't miss anything by being here.
And there's no end date there. That'll be as long as it needs to be, pretty much, at Optus Stadium. Yeah,
well, the times are changing really quickly, so we haven't put an end date on it. For the time being, this will be our home, and the players have embraced it really well.
Beautiful. Thanks, Rosie. You better move on.
I think AMP have gone out of the call, so we'll just go to 6PR. Thanks, Rosie. Justin, Ashley from 6PR, how you going?
Yeah, good, thanks.
That's good. Just touching on, the first game at the helm for you. I know that you've been in this role previously, but, it must be an unusual feeling going into your first round.
Yeah, it's probably not the way I envisaged it happening, but I'm excited. It's my first time as a senior coach to be able to coach the Fremantle Football Club, so I'm excited. It's a little bit different, but my job as a coach is to make sure our players are really focused on what they need to do on Saturday against Essendon. So we've been, as a coaching group, really trying to keep it process orientated, trying to make sure that we're reinforcing the behaviours that we've been training and practicing over the pre-season, and we get our first look at that on Saturday.
And what's your expectations as far as players to shine through, shortened quarters, shortened games, or a condensed period of games? Who do you see sort of coming to the front with that?
I think a number of our guys have had great pre-seasons and are fitter than they've ever been. I touched on the young midfielders in Brayshaw and Chera, and those types who haven't missed a beat all pre-season. Rory Lobb, Griffin Logue, they've done every session that we could have asked. So for them to be playing lower game times means we can probably maybe string them out a little bit in game, get them on the field for longer periods of time. So looking forward to that. As the condensed games, we haven't been told that yet. So we'll if we get told that we're condensing the season, we'll adjust and plan the best we can. But at this stage, we're planning to play the first 4 games as scheduled and as fixtured.
And taking a look at Essendon, your head-to-head, how are you feeling the lineup with that? It's always difficult to tell going into the first game of the season.
Yeah, I feel over the pre-season, watching them play, they've changed a little bit with the way they structure up, the way they defend. has changed a little bit. They're still moving the ball really quickly, and they've still got a lot of skill in their side. So we're planning on making sure we're really strong defensively. We play in role, we play in shape, and like we've spoken about a lot over the pre-season, I feel like our ball movement will look after itself if we defend and compete really hard.
Great, thanks, Rosie.
Rosie, Channel 10 have asked myself, Paddy, to ask some questions. They're having some microphone issues.
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. Justin, just in terms of yourself and your own emotions, did you get any sleep last night?
Yeah, no, I had a good night's sleep last night. The thing that worries me is making sure that the players are well prepared. And I feel like as a coaching group, so far we've prepared our players to what we would want. We had a good training session yesterday. We've had some good early meetings about what we need to do this week, and we'll progress the week as we have in the March series, and feel like our players are focused. They're showing really good energy. They've been positive, and realistically, they just want to get out there and play. So I feel like the week's unfolded really well, which has allowed me to sleep well, I guess.
The shorter quarters, does that have any impact at all on the Fremantle Dockers game plan or the game style?
No, it doesn't. It just means we might be able to keep players out there for a little bit longer, because a lot of our players will play the same game time in a shortened game. So as far as the way we attack and defend, no, it won't change at all.
In terms of that, you mentioned players staying out. Does that mean like a Fife and a Walters? I mean, how much of a lift does that give you as a coach, knowing that they can potentially play 100% of game time now?
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll be as much as 100%, but they might get up to 90%. Some guys, and early in the season might dictate a little bit of that, given that they haven't got full match practice under their belt. But as the season unfolds, we should be able to see our stars out there for longer, which is something that all our supporters want to see, and all football lovers want to see. So we'll weigh that up as we go.
Beautiful.
Brendan, you're good to go?
G'day Justin, Braden Quartermain from the West. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, mate, go yeah.
Is Sam Sturt your only debutant, and if so, how long might fans have to wait until they see your 3 top 10 draft picks, Hayden Young, Caleb Sarong and Liam Henry?
He will be our only debutant at this stage. Caleb played over the pre-season. We've probably just got a few of our more experienced mids in front of him at the moment. But he was really close. We had a good discussion around him at match committee. And as for the other two, they haven't played yet. And I suppose the difficult situation now we find ourselves in is that there's no footy at any lower level. So we'll have to make sure that we set up a training program that allows them to still develop and be ready if selected. So that's what we're trying to work out the logistics around that at the moment.
I was going to ask that. Obviously, everyone's in the same boat, but you being a pretty young, developing type of squad, how much has this complicated things for you with trying to get young players ready?
Oh, it's complicated everyone across the league, and we just need to make sure that the program we put in place for the players that aren't playing allows them to develop their skill set as a footballer and develop their game holistically, but also have them ready and at a fitness level that allows them to step straight into the AFL side. So we're going to have to get creative. We've already had some discussions as a coaching group around that, and a fitness staff. So we'll continue to work on what that looks like over the weekend and early next week, and we'll give our players the best opportunity to be ready and develop their games personally.
And have you looked into whether you're able to, say, use waffle players or some peel players as top-ups to stage your own sort of intra-clubs or scratch matches or something for players who don't play in the senior team?
No, we haven't had any communication around that, and it's the AFL program at the moment is about limiting risk, so we'd have to look into all options, but some of those things just provide too much risk for our players at the moment. So we'll look at all options available as we go, but yeah, scratch matches against waffle sides haven't been brought up yet.
And just last one, I mean, you're a bit of a father figure to 45 young blokes thrown into this crazy situation. What have you learnt about the boys that you've got at your disposal in the last sort of week or so with how they've all dealt with this?
Yeah, well, it's, you know, as a football department, we've been making sure we have strong avenues of communication. We've been making sure that we've been keeping them in the loop on everything that we're hearing from the AFL. Been making sure that we open up a forum for them to be able to communicate any difficulties they're having and questions that they have. So Peter Bell's led that really well, and we feel like as a playing group they've got great clarity around what we expect of them, and great clarity around what we need to do. So I feel like as a young playing group they've handled it really well, because realistically they just want to get out there and play footy. So tried to make sure as of yesterday we reset the group and make sure their focus is on Essendon this week.
Okay, so we'll just run through. Shulka, did you have any further questions?
I did, yeah, just a couple, Justin. A lot of interest in your wing positions through the pre-season. Have you come to a decision on who gets the opportunities first there, with Bewley, McCarthy obviously pushing pretty hard?
Yeah, we have. And those two will get plenty of opportunity on the wings. We obviously brought Aish into the footy club as well. So those three will be our wingers. I think they've all had really good opportunity over the pre-season to play those roles, and they've learnt through that pre-season, but they've also had some really good form in that position. So we're really confident that our wingers can play their role within the team. And then some of our inside mids have also got some capabilities of playing there as well. So we're not stuck on two players playing wing the whole time. We want to get some flexibility through that role as well. So there'll be 4 or 5 guys that spend time in the wing roles throughout the game on Saturday.
It's a great story, Ken McCarthy, obviously being able to come from a key forward role and lacking opportunity to now playing round one in a new position. Can you just talk us through, I guess, the transformation that you've seen in him?
Yeah, it is a good story, and he's been, the thing that's allowed him to do it is he's been really open to the challenge and accepting the challenge, and doesn't mean he won't play forward for us at any stage, but he's really applied himself to the role. He's done all he can from a fitness, from an upskilling point of view with his coaches. So he deserves his opportunity. I thought again in the last March series game against West Coast, he was really good, and put his hand up and deserves his opportunity. So looking forward to seeing how he goes on Saturday.
And Luke Ryan, has he proved his fitness this week?
Yeah, so far so good with Luke. He did a great session on Monday, backed it up yesterday with a full footy session, and has pulled up really well. So we're really confident that he's going to be there playing on Saturday.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot, Justin.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rosie.
No worries.
Rosie, I just had a couple of quick ones. Justin, in terms of Mundy, Wilson, Pearce, I imagine any of them are an outside bid, or we're still waiting a couple of weeks for them?
No, they won't get up for this week. We're really confident with the way they're progressing, and all three of them, to be honest, will knock on my door next week and put their hand up, I would imagine. So we'll have some tough decisions to make at match committee next week. It's a good position for the footy club to be in with those guys returning, and some players missing out as it is this week. So really starting to build some depth in our list and competition for spots. So that's fantastic.
The round 5 game against Tasmania won't be played there now because of the travel restrictions with Tasmania. Have you had any dialogue with the AFL about potentially where that would be, or would you like it to?
Have you still got me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. No, we haven't had any dialogue with the AFL on that matter yet. Yeah, and there's a lot of water to go under the bridge before we get to round 5, and I suppose it makes it a lot easier shifting games when there's no crowd involved. So we'll be in constant dialogue with the AFL across the coming weeks, and like I said earlier, we'll be as fluid as we can with our planning and our preparation for games. So we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
One more as well, just with obviously if they're looking at condensing games and there's 3 games in 2 weeks or 4 in 3 weeks, having a younger side with potentially not as mature bodies, do you see that as a disadvantage at all?
No, I don't. I actually see it as an advantage, and I see it as a really exciting opportunity if that comes. So young bodies seem to pull up better from games, so I feel like if that happened, we'd be in really good shape.
Beautiful. No worries. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, mate.
Ashley, have you got anything further?
No, all good. Thanks, Flip.
No worries. And then I suppose it's just the West, Braden.
Oh, just last one, Justin. What would a win mean to you and the boys in these circumstances? I imagine it'd be one of the more emotional moments in your life if you could win on the road.
Yeah. I don't know whether I'll go that far. I just think it'd be great evidence that our program's on the right track, and feel like the players would deserve it because they've put in so much work over the pre-season. They've been so accepting of me and the new program, and they've put in so much work. So we need 18 guys playing their role on the field at any one time on the weekend, and I feel like if we could do that, we'll be in with a real chance of getting the 4 points, and a real process-orientated coach. So make sure we prepare our players the best we can, and they'll go out and give great effort and make sure they're executing their roles. So I haven't really thought about the result yet, mate. I'm just trying to prepare our players best to get to the starting line and make sure they're really they've got great clarity on what they need to do.